Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's pick a card reading is the third in the Trinity Series of collaborations that I've been doing with the wonderful Reena from Gold Key Guidance and the talented Ember from Ember Moon Tarot. So this has been an absolute joy to work with these wonderful readers and create something a little bit special in terms of a sort of a triptych of readings and lenses through which to look at key factors in your life. And this third reading is based on the primary colours, which was Reena's idea. So we've done Mother, Maiden and Crone, and we've done the three fates. Now we're looking at the three primary colours. I love colour energy. I thought it was a fantastic idea of Reena's to do this. And I'm looking at yellow. Reena will be looking at red and Ember will be looking at blue. And to me, I thought, how would I want to look at yellow as a color energy? And it sort of says two things very strongly to me. One is your life path with the sun, hence choosing sun cards from the tarot decks that I'll use in each of the readings there as part of the choice. It also talks of the solar plexus energy, self-empowerment. So I think that the prism through which I want to look at yellow energy for you is the self-empowerment, your self-empowerment, and how that is aided by and supported by following your sun, your life path in some way, or in many ways potentially. So the timestamps for the other readings for red and blue are down in the description box below. For this reading, I'll just put out the numbers so that for those who like that when they're choosing. There's three readings to choose from, and as I say, what I have done is I've chosen a different tarot deck for each reading. I've chosen deliberately very colourful, very bright decks that feel to me like yellow, or at least strong colours, and very much typified here by the images for the sun from each. So for pile number 1, we have the Radiant Wilds Tarot. For pile number 2, we have the White Fly Tarot. And for pile number 3, we have the Rainbow Moon Tarot. So if you're familiar with those decks, that might help you choose, or the imagery may help you choose. Whatever way works for you, when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps, as always, are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile number 1 to your reading. So to start off, I wanted to get some other energy before we get into the tarot. And so I was looking at other colour energy that might be impacting your yellow self-empowerment sun energy. And it's interesting, we've got another shade of yellow there, so I'll get to that. I also wanted to look at some astrology to see what kind of areas of your life and energies in your life it is impacting, and also a rainbow oracle card for the sort of spiritual connection and so forth. There's also some crystal chakra cards over here that we'll look at later in the reading. So the interesting thing about this is that, firstly, as I say, you do have lemon, so that is another yellow color. So it's a very strong sun, your life path, who you are in the world, your solar plexus, your self-empowerment energy to this. To me, that tells me that the people who've come to this reading are very strong in that area. You do a lot of work on, or you are naturally very optimistic and self-empowered. Then we have cherry, which is, tilting towards the root chakra. And so that says to me that this is something that's very basic to you. It's very, very much the foundation of your life. Your sense of self and your life path and everything is very strong. I think you have a very good idea about it. The things that are interesting beyond that is that lemon here talks about innovative thinking. Cherry talks about live an extraordinary life. So I feel that beyond the sense of this is in your foundation, this sort of sense of optimism, which I think is there, we have a sense of a very individual way of being. You are very unique, you're very individual. I mean, we are all individual, but some people are more, they express themselves more in a unique way. They are into innovation. They want to do something extraordinary, and there is the optimism to do that. So that's number 1. Number 2, what I find interesting is sweet and sour. I think you're quite balanced in the way that you can manage these energies, and you see the value in both sweet and sour, both sort of attractive and then also kind of almost astringent and refining energy in what you do to bring things forward, which helps you manifest the good life with Taurus, manifest this materially. The tastes of this, it feels like there's a taste in both of those. They are both fruits, so there's a sense here of the tastes and the sensations of life and the good life and all that sort of stuff is part of this, and you can manifest that through your optimism and your individuality. But the key other element about this is in relationship to others, because your rainbow oracle card is alliance. And then you have the 7th house, which is all about relationships. Now, this could be a great love, a marriage, any of the sort of things. The 7th house, when it's a great love, often does sort of denote the sort of sense of like committed relationships, but it could also be a business partnership, a creative partnership. It may be one key person who is the balance for your energy, and that together the two of you can do more than you can just do on your own, or they could just do on their own, or it could be more than one person. One of the things that occurs to me if this isn't a love relationship is, say it was a creative or business partnership, you may be the person who is around the foundation of it and the innovation. They may pick up then the 3rd primary colour, blue, which is, amongst other things, the throat chakra. So maybe a wonderful PR person or the communication energy. But there is a sense of the best way that you can live this extraordinary life and manifest the things that you want in this very positive way is to be in collaboration with others. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out with the tarot. So what we're going to do with the tarot is we're going to first of all look through the lens of the solar plexus chakra. So what Spirit wants to say about using your yellow energy, this optimism that you have, as I say, mixed with the sort of sweetness of life and the grounded energy, the foundation of life, how that operates. And then we're going to have a look at your sun, your life path, how that connects to your life path, and then we'll ask for any particular advice. So firstly, a little bit more energy around how this balance of the truly innovative individual with the person who's connected to someone else that makes it even more in some way, how is that meant to play out for you, pile 1? The High Priestess reversed, Death, 8 of Cups reversed, 5 of Cups reversed, 2 of Cups reversed. Okay, now the interesting thing here is there's 2 things I get very quickly. One is that most of you, if there has been alliances before, it may even be that some of you thought, oh, I don't want to hear that about a relationship, because it does look to me like many of you are dealing with and still processing sort of sad, like regretful energy around something that might have been a romantic connection. This doesn't have to be a romantic thing we're talking about here, but if it is, there's time to sort of make a decision to come out of that energy. So you're arising out of that energy. So I do think that this is sort of saying that for some of you, you are ultimately at your core indefatigable about this. You will rise. You are naturally able to take the sour with the sweet. You are naturally able to learn and go through this, but you're still probably processing this a bit. So it is affecting your self-empowerment a bit. But Spirit is saying with Death here, you can make that choice, and you have the pragmatism to make the choice with the High Priestess reversed. Plus, for some of you, if there's a block around relationship, it's going to shift soon, in as much as you're going to hear or learn something that's going to clear the air for you and make it easier for you to decide. So if some of you know that you have this great destiny, I think, around innovation and creativity and all that sort of thing, and you're kind of waiting on something and you're feeling a bit disappointed, like even preemptively disappointed in whether you'll have the collaboration, you're going to find out soon whether you're going to. And if you're not, something else will come in. And if you are, then you'll be able to move forward. It's an interesting thing, because this says to me that your nature is actually optimistic, but there's something where you're almost being precautionarily pessimistic, or, as I say, you need to let go of some energy that hasn't worked to let the new energy in. But you are going to hear or learn something, I think, in the near future that will help you shift through that. So let's ask how this is then impacting your life path. If we've got a sort of sense here of you've got to learn something or let go of something to make the decision to move forward and to regain your self-empowerment, how is this energy operating for your life path at the moment? 3 of Cups, 3 of Swords, the Emperor, the Devil, oh my goodness, the World reversed. Okay, all right. So for some of you, this could be around a friendship or a love relationship, definitely. And as I say, it's still showing, like in your life path, there's some pain that you're processing. But there's also here, it's interesting. This is like the sour and the sweet. It's sort of like reversed in order here. But there's something here about taking both and being able to process both. There is something unfinished. There is something unfinished. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean if this has been about a relationship or something that you are meant to stay in that relationship. It may well be you're meant to move away. Unless what you hear revives it and takes away the pain, you may still need to finish that, let that go. But there's big ticket things for you to do with this in your life path, and it's probably going to play out in your career, I would say. Now, it could play out around relationships as well, but it's almost like somehow that connects to career, strategy, the powers of the world, the material things in the world. And it's tilting back to Taurus, that whatever you're doing is meant to bring in, a good material outcome for you. But you have to manage and deal with the powers of the world and how you make sure that they don't control you, that you control them. There's something in that. This is why your innovation, there's something innovative you can bring in. You may in fact have to crash through certain old systems and old ways of doing things to make that happen. Or you may find that a struggle that you have to deal with is how to really manifest that in the world where either you're a bit ahead of your time or where there are powers that, are playing strategic games around you. But this is saying there's something unfinished. So if you had felt disappointed around a creative project, a relationship, whatever it is, this part of your life path is to resolve that in some way, to gain your own mastery within the world with Taurus there, and to balance the bitter and the sweet. It's interesting. So let's ask for 3 other cards to show any other energies. I'm going here to try and get a sense of the other color energies as much as anything else that could be impacting this for you at the moment. So Page of Wands, 5 of Swords reversed, the Lovers reversed. Okay, so I feel Wands to me says red, so it's doubling down again a bit on red, and Page of Wands says to me that there is something about creativity and sorting out what you want to do creatively that is important here, and that it is really core to you. It has to be core to you. This is why we've got this energy. It feels like maybe for some of you, you've had a creative project, you run up against a bit of a brick wall about how you fit it into the current state of the world and what is sort of like in business terms looked at, for instance. But this is saying you can, actually, I always think this looks like kind of like sending it out over the internet, like, or over the airwaves. You can do something with the core of this, even if you need to modify it a bit, even if you need to find the right partner, and there is something about that here. You can do it. You can build that. You have the sort of like foundational creative energy for this. 5 of Swords reversed. Swords makes me think of blue, makes me think of the intellect, makes me think of communication. This says that don't waste your time arguing with people who don't get it, basically. There's a side of you maybe where you've been trying to bring something innovative or new in, and you're just around very old-fashioned, very, kind of like calcified sort of energy. Don't waste your time on that. Start to get your message out to others. There's sometimes you have to go, this wasn't the group to do this with, this wasn't the people to do it with, I will find the right people. And that then fits with the Lovers, which I feel is not so much a color energy, but is pointing to the alliance energy. I feel like most of you that probably you haven't found the person that's the right person for this yet, but you will if you start to just focus on what you're trying to express and what you're trying to create and less about what the outcome is. Then you will find the right person, because at the moment you're kind of stuck arguing with or trying to convince people who are not going to see what you're seeing, because you're innovative and like you're around people who actually aren't. So I think it's to get you in, to trust yourself first. This is why this energy, the color energy, was all about you and the foundation of you and your innovative thinking. And then it was looking at, you manifest this through finding the right alliances. So I think the message is becoming quite clear. So let's get a little bit of other advice for you. So, and it sort of fits with this because this is moving from self into others. So I was looking at getting you a card around community, a card around yourself and your own light, and then also any healing that you might need to do to really open up the energy and the potential of this. So firstly, we'll look at community. We'll have a look at what community energy is around you, because for you this is quite important, because there's something about finding the right people. Peacemaking. Okay, I think that is saying that you're stuck a bit in this at the moment. I think it's an energy you actually need to come out of. I think you are you are naturally able to see, so because you can balance the bitter and the sweet, you're actually able to sort of peacemake. It's something you're naturally able to do, but there is something now where you're kind of like fighting a losing battle, I think, and there's just no need to do it. It's sort of like make peace with that for yourself as well, but it's a role you've almost been given, and you're meant to do something more creative than just that, and you're meant to find the right people. I think you've hit a block because you're meant to hit the block so that you start to do more about what you want to innovate and less about kind of just balancing off all these different egos that are involved in it. Okay, so let's get you from the Lantern Oracle some advice for self-empowerment. Weeping wound, you are not your wounds. Okay, so whatever this was that's blocking you, that's not who you are. You know, you are actually really someone who's very balanced, very optimistic. It's like you've been knocked for a loop about this, and you've been trying to make peace with people, and you're just with the wrong audience or the wrong people. That's what it is, and you have to close that energy off and not start to define yourself by this, because you are actually far more innovative and fundamentally new oriented. And this is why it's important. Don't keep losing battles with the wrong people. You don't have to make everybody come along with you. You just have to find the right people to come along with you. So therefore, what can you heal? Inner child. All right. So for some of you with that Emperor, this could be around parental stuff. You know, things that have been programmed within you. It could be that you have just come into a somewhat hostile and stagnant audience for something that was innovative and bright. And so your inner child, this is your inner child energy, you know, knew who you were, was optimistic, innovative, excited. You just need to get back to that energy, because you are very good, because you can think faster than most people, as I say, making peace most of the time, but you're hitting a brick wall for a reason at the moment. That's what I feel, because there's something you're meant to do now, and you're just in the wrong place with the wrong people. That's the really strong energy that is around it. Okay. So what I also wanted to do, and this is where these cards come in, is that in the crystal chakra deck, this connects chakra energy and crystals. And I went through and I sort of put them into the different chakras, because I wanted to have a chakra that was for the solar plexus, so the energy, and some affirmations around that. But I also wanted to combine the yellow energy with the other two primary colors. So to me, yellow combined with blue, which is Ember's, throat chakra energy, is green, and that's the heart chakra. So I have a heart chakra energy. And then yellow combined with red, which is the root chakra, is orange, so that's the sacral chakra. So this is to connect this energy to the other readings, but also to sort of give any affirmations about the yellow energy as well. So we have the sacral chakra, and the heart chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. So in the solar plexus chakra, we have sunshine aura quartz, and that's about rejuvenation and expansion. Yes, I think you do need to rejuvenate this inner child, this wonderful optimism that's just been knocked around a bit for some reason. The affirmations are, I choose to expand my perspective, and I take time to rejuvenate my energy. So you don't fight things that aren't worth fighting, and kind of rethink about your perspective, and remember that it's just... It'd be a bit like if you were writing a horror novel and you gave it to a romance editor. It's just not the right audience. You find the right audience, you'll be fine. For the sacral chakra, so connecting to the root chakra, we have carnelian, and this is about success and self-confidence. I am confident in the decisions I make, and I attract success into my life. And you will, because ultimately you're very innovative, and ultimately you're meant to find the good life and to find the right connections. So don't let this make you feel that you're kind of like off course. You can get on course again. And then the heart chakra has green adventurine and has prosperity and transmutation. So it says, I transmute lower vibrational energies into higher ones. Yeah, like just don't get caught up in this. You're being almost called into the argument, and that's not the point for you at the moment. The point for you is what's new. And it says, I attract prosperity into my life by believing I deserve it. And you do deserve it. Your inner child deserves it. You really are innovative, and you are meant to find the right people, because there's something really beautiful and optimistic and balanced that you can bring in. Okay, so we're going to finish off with two things. We're going to look at an archetype energy that the yellow is manifesting for you, and then we're going to get a card from the wisdom of the golden path, because I feel the golden path fits with yellow as well. So firstly, an archetype energy that is manifesting now through your yellow vibration, pile 1. The eternal child. Okay, it's going back to the inner child as well. This is such a clue and such an affirmation for what you're meant to be doing, because the eternal child wants to be freed from everything where people say things can't happen, it can't be done. It's getting back to that core of that beautiful, innovative inner child that knew and wanted to expand and be connected to the all. So you really are, like you really are this person. Once you do this, once you connect to that energy, that sort of enthusiasm and that wonder, you know, this is the Page of Wands here, then, you know, you heal the inner child, you're pretty much unstoppable, and you will bring in the right people, you know, or the right person, depending upon whether this is a love relationship that you're trying to sort of heal from, or whether it is some sort of creative partnership. So lastly, let's just get a card from the wisdom of the golden path for you. So this is your yellow brick road, let's put it that way. Goddess of oneness. That connects very much to the heart chakra with the green there. So, you know, what is in your heart is important. It's really interesting that the reading starts and finishes on the concept of oneness, and that operates on 2 levels for you. One is what is unique about you. What is unique in your heart, in your vision, and that's where it starts. That's your foundation. But also, when we are in alliance, when we are in relationship, we connect to all. So there's something also in this for you which is about your connection to all, but it is your unique connection to all, what you bring that no one else can bring. And if you're trying to find the peace in areas where people are not ready for your message, or if you're trying to make the peace in a relationship that is not really, you know, supporting you and seeing you and loving that beautiful, unique person that you are, then you are not only disconnected from yourself, you're also disconnected from those that you're meant to connect with. So it starts and finishes in the same pattern of what is unique to you and what then connects you to others. So I do think you've been dealing with something, pile 1, but I think that this is time to let that go and to let that wonder and awe come back in. And I think you'll find you will naturally draw in the right people for you at that point. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. And do go and see Reena and Ember's other things to see what the other balance of the primary colours are for you and how that maybe manifests around this particular thing. Or if you've come from those, then I hope this connected in a way that is resonant for you. But for now, I will wish you well and hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So to start the reading, I wanted to have a look at some other colour energy that could be impacting your yellow, your solar plexus, your life path, the yellow vibrations for you. Some astrology for where this might be manifesting in your life, and also the kind of spiritual core of it with the Rainbow Oracle. And the thing that strikes me firstly with this when I look at it is that in all the cards here, except for a little bit of yellow in this, I don't see a lot of yellow. I see a lot that should have yellow, that should have empowerment, that should have self-confidence, but I don't see it. And I think there might be a reason why, and this is not to say you can't have it. I think there is actually an answer to this. I think what we're seeing with turquoise here, awakening your empathy, the kind of connection of your heart and your communication, sort of blue and green. And then we're also seeing blue here, brilliance, discover your brilliance, and also a little bit, say, the crown chakra, white sort of energy, white light. And we see the 12th house, which is, you know, very deep spiritual feelings, psychic, very private though. And we see Capricorn, that suggests that you are very earnest about what you do, or you're involved in, you know, a lot around the material world, you know, and the powers of the world, or work. There's a lot around work and material things here. But underneath, the soul is creative and multicolored. So I feel what this is saying, and we will look at other chakra energy a little bit later in the reading. I feel like what this is saying is that there is a really strong spiritual element to this. You are very spiritually attuned, but you're in a harsh environment. That's what it looks like to me. You're very creative, but you kind of hide it, because there's sort of like either you've had said to you, you know, you have to just make the money. Like you're a poet and you've been in a family of lawyers and everybody has to be a lawyer sort of thing. There's something like that. And so it's, all of this feels very hidden. You know, you have this amazing empathy for other people, and you may find the environment that you're in very harsh as a response to that. And you are brilliant, like you really are brilliant, very creative, but I feel like you're not doing it for some reason. So whether you're conscious of this and you know, in your spare time you're writing the great American novel or whatever, or whether you aren't, there is real brilliance, real innovation with you, and very connected to others, but I feel like it's kind of hidden at the moment. And as a result, your life path, even if part of your life path is in the material world, and that is something you're meant to be doing, and it's part, might be clear in your astrology chart. You could be a Capricorn sun, or you might have your sun in the 10th house, so you might be doing to some degree what you're meant to do with your life path. But for your self-empowerment, there's got to be a way to find the right material environment for this energy to come out. So I think that's what we're going to be kind of exploring for you in this reading. So what I'm going to do with tarot is we're going to firstly ask about your solar plexus energy, what's going on around that at the moment, your self-empowerment. Then we're going to ask about the life path, and then we'll ask for some advice about kind of bringing that yellow energy up to the surface. So firstly, how is this all playing out at the moment for your sense of self-empowerment? King of Swords reversed, Ace of Cups reversed, Ace of Wands, Strength, Seven of Wands. Okay, this is pretty optimistic. This is good. I think as I was shuffling, I thought, some of you may be thinking, look, that's true. I work every day in the financial services industry, but I actually am doing something creative, and I'm quite happy for them to be separate. And if I wrote a book, I'd use a pen name. So, for some of you, it might be fine. And there is an energy here for some of you that it is. But it kind of depends. For some of you, it may not be. With the King of Swords reversed, that does suggest at the moment that there is maybe something unfair about the way you've come to see yourself. This could have been something, as I said, like a family of lawyers. And nothing against lawyers, but if you are a poet, then maybe being a lawyer is not exactly the right thing. There's sort of something around that. Could be from a parental sort of influence. It could just be that, or it could be that you're in a work environment, but that like life hasn't given you the breaks. It hasn't been fair to allow you to really shine yet. You have it, and it's in your heart, but you feel like it's been suppressed to some degree. On the other hand, what's good is it's really starting to rise with the Ace of Wands upright. Aces are always blessings, even if they're reversed, but this is telling me a bit of what's in your heart is still a little bit hidden, but you are starting to work out. You do know that you're creatively strong, and you do know that you're getting ready to sort of go out and compete in some way. So if you are caught in some sort of day job, you might have written a great novel or a screenplay or something, and you're ready to take it out there. And so you are on your life path, but there's something that has made it harder, and slower and all of those sort of things. But I do think it is suggesting that energy is starting to lift for you, so that's good. So let's ask about the life path. If your solar plexus, your self-empowerment is, you're starting to see it's through the creativity that you have, and that you are competitive, that you really are special in this space, and maybe not meant for the office job, but meant for something else, just as an example. Let's see what your sun, your life path, how that is now kicking in around this energy. Eight of Swords reversed, Three of Swords, Queen of Wands, Seven of Cups, Nine of Pentacles reversed. So it's interesting. I think in one of the other readings, obviously a different deck, that card came up in exactly the same spot, if I remember correctly, which is interesting. Okay, so this is good news, I think. Eight of Swords reversed says to me that you are starting to release yourself from whatever mental prison you might have put yourself in about, what you have to do. You may still need, to pay the bills or whatever to be in a day job, but you've recognised that you're hurting yourself too much to not actually, do what is in your heart. You've kind of come to realise that. Therefore, you move very quickly in your life path from the creative idea to the creative actualization. You're very, very talented creatively, and whatever that means to you. And that could be kind of the classic creativity, like writing or art. It could just be being strategically creative. It could be, if you're in IT, could move from sort of like doing kind of, the sort of service delivery stuff into developing software. There's something where you are going to move much more self-actualized, and you see you have far more options than you thought. The only thing here that it is saying that's important, and this might be why Capricorn is here, is that it's not something, you are innovative and you're creative, but you're not meant to do it all on your own. You need other people around you. You need a financial basis. Now, it could be as simple as I say, you need your day job and to be around others for the moment, but you can do this in your spare time and then take it out there and shift that. But for some of you need a platform that is material. This might be why Capricorn is here. So it may be that, you could be in an organization now or find an organization where your creativity was actually supported and was seen and it was celebrated, and therefore it could be manifest, because it is meant to be materially manifest, and you are meant to connect with others with this. Okay, so let's get 3 cards for some advice, almost from the other color energies. That's what I'm kind of looking for here. The Emperor reversed, 5 of Wands reversed, the Empress reversed. Okay, wow. There's definitely something about powerful energies, and whether or not, and there could be even family sort of stuff here with both the Emperor and the Emperor reversed, that is getting in the way of this. So it's how you can balance that off and take advantage of it and work with it, rather than always sort of like kind of hitting your head up against the powers of the world in some way. This color energy tilts a lot to the red, I feel. So I think that the connection with Reena's reading will be particularly strong for you, because I feel like Emperor Aries feels red coloring to me. Certainly Wands feels like red coloring to me. The Empress is probably closer to blue, because I think she's kind of like between, how you communicate with nurturing, and also, as in the throat chakra, and also the heart chakra. So this is kind of this energy a bit. But it's interesting that they're all reversed. Now, the good news is that one of them is saying that stopping battling and thinking about who you really want to do and be is the way, rather than trying to battle with these energies, I think, that are powerful in some way, but not able to let you do the innovation in some way. So it could be, as I say, programming from family. It could be some powerful people in an organization. You are meant to find the organization and the people to do this, but there is sort of like recognizing that releasing from battling it, looking at a different way to do it, or a different place to do it, I think, is what this is talking about. So I think that the root chakra, the red energy, the ambition, the passion, all of that is saying, do not let that be suppressed by people battling or powers that are illegitimate. Like that Queen of Wands upright, I think can gazump the Emperor reversed. So, know your creativity is important, and know that a lot of the battles are petty and beneath you, but you do need to think about how you open up your creativity more, and where and who with, I think. Okay, so speaking of such things, I want to have a look at how your yellow energy, impacts, you in community with others, in yourself in terms of the way to light your path, and then also what may need to be healed to really take advantage of your yellow solar plexus, self-empowerment, life path energy. So firstly, in relation to others, in relation to community. Blood. Okay, there's a lot about family in this. I think if you've come to the right reading, you'll resonate to this. There's a lot about family. There's a lot about what family expects, family traditions, family legacies. That's fine, but not if it stops you from following your own true inner self and your creativity. So if you're going to find a way to connect the two, that's fine, but don't feel caught by it. There's like a lot of pressure, I think, that's been put on you around this, but you will actually shine a bit. If you have a family, for instance, that say, oh, you could not possibly be an actor or an actress because, you'll never make the money, you've got to go and be a lawyer, as I say. If you actually do it and then you become, Tom Cruise or something, then it's kind of proved the point that it can be done, and you definitely have the sort of creativity that it's a kind of innate conservatism, I think, and almost a legacy. And also if there's something about what you want to do in terms of your self-empowerment, your life path, your creativity, even in terms of who you are, like if there's something about how you want to present yourself, how you want to identify, and you have a lot of pressure against that and a lot of conservatism, again, your life path is to be true to you. Okay, let's see what the Lantern Oracle can do to give some light, shine some yellow bright light on any of the dark spaces in this where you're trying to sort of find your way. Misalignment. Okay, so miracles become normal once we face all of the aspects of our life in the same direction. So like there's something misaligned. There is something misaligned. I don't think ultimately, I think there is a way to either, as I say, for some of you to find the right organisation or the right sort of more conventional career path that allows you to be creative. For others, it's to find the right people to work with, maybe not in the more traditional organisations, but something's misaligned at the moment. That's why I just didn't feel the strong yellow energy at the beginning, and yet I felt there's so much creativity there. Okay, so let's see what needs to be healed. Phoenix rising, okay. It's not really so much that you need to be healed. You just need to sort of grab who you are, grab that Queen of Wands and rise. Now, the good thing about the Phoenix rising too is that if you have felt that you've been at a bit of a nadir, a bit of a low point because you felt boxed in, and that's the energy I get about this, it's a bit like in alchemy where the nigredo occurs, where all the constituent elements are sort of burnt down into their sort of essential elements, so the more purified thing can rise. And that's why the phoenix, the peacock, various things like that are associated with alchemy in the second stage where you become more who you really are. So with the 12th house, as I say, there's something profoundly spiritual about this for you. So you really are transforming yourself and disentangling yourself from kind of old traditions, old expectations to be more who you are. And part of the thing I'm getting with that empathy is that will be a beautiful thing around your creativity, but it's been one of the things that's changed you to this because you haven't wanted to hurt people who mightn't have been able to deal with what you were doing. But you really do have to be this phoenix and arise out of it. They'll deal with it in the end, but you need to be you. Okay, so these cards here, as I say, I sort of put aside. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to connect this yellow energy to the other two primary colours. So I have using sort of chakra energy. So the solar plexus is the yellow energy. So I have a solar plexus card here. Then I also have one that connects to the root chakra by saying yellow and red together makes orange, which is the sacral chakra. And I have one that says that yellow and blue makes green, which is the heart chakra. So this is to try and connect some of the energy to the other readings. So root chakra, I put here, heart chakra. Oh, actually, I've got the wrong chakra. I got the root chakra. There must have been a reason for that. So I thought I put them all together, but I got a root chakra. So that must have been meant to happen. That should have been the sacral chakra. But let's go with the root chakra because when these things happen, they happen for a reason. So this is really getting to the core of you. And it's interesting I felt to put it with blood. This is very, very core to you. Maybe because the sacral chakra, I think, with creativity is part of what connects to your solar plexus. So maybe that's why it happened. But that was a mistake on my part. But sometimes a happy accident is actually a message. So I'm going to go with it. So the root chakra here has red jasper. And the elements around it are rectification and boundaries. I establish healthy boundaries and I rectify my mistakes. So this is about having the right boundaries, and don't give yourself a hard time if you sort of followed the rules and so forth before. That's okay. We all can make other decisions and change and move, but this is core to having the boundaries for you to be able to do what you want. The heart chakra is about friendship and loyalty. I am loyal to myself and others, and I seek healthy friendships. So I think you will find the right connection. Someone's saying it will happen, but you have to really be prepared to come out a little bit from behind the scenes with the 12th house. That then leads to the solar plexus chakra, the energy of this reading. We've got golden calcite, leadership and self-worth. So we have, I know my self-worth and I take a lead in my own life. Yeah, that's what you need to do. And you may well start your own organisation, your own legacy with that. But you've got to disentangle yourself from that which is not true to you for that to occur. Okay, pile 2. So to finish off, I want to have a look at an archetype energy that is being manifest for you through your yellow energy, your yellow vibration, and then we're going to get a card from the wisdom of the golden path, because the golden path is the perfect pathway for yellow energy. So let's firstly see what archetype is operating strongest for you at the moment in this aspect of your life. The mentor. Okay, that's interesting. I think this adds some interesting elements, to this, because the mentor could be a person around you, and they could be the person ultimately that helps you sort of come out from behind the scenes and find your right people and create, definitely. And if that is occurring, that's good. Like, listen to that person, connect with that person, and so forth. Could be in an organization, it could be creatively. It could be you, and you're meant to mentor others, and while you're saying a little bit hidden and private, it isn't happening. But it could also be energies that are around you that have been mentors that are no longer serving a purpose for you to create who you are, because this does talk about if the mentor starts to think they are the font of all knowledge, it falls into shadow. They're meant to help to expand. I sort of feel with the mentor card, it's a bit like the ideal mentor has experience to share, but they operate on sharing that experience, but also almost the Socratic method of asking questions to get you to work out how it works for you. A bad mentor tries to make you into a mini-me. A good mentor wants to give you some tools and knowledge so that you can then become who you are, and that's the difference. So I think there's something around that. So for some of you, that might be manifesting as a person in your life, and you need to make a decision as to whether they're the shadow mentor or the good mentor. But if this is you going forward, then even this approach to work out who you are against the powers of the world and other people's ideas might give a methodology that you can share with other people. So it just depends on the situation. Okay, so last but certainly not least, let's get you a card from the wisdom of the golden path. Change. Yeah, things have to change. You have to change something, pile 2, to really step into your life path, your potential, your self-empowerment. And you may ultimately then become, so this could be something creative about this that helps others change. It's not saying you could potentially become a mentor or an icon in some way around this, but there is change necessary, and coming out from behind the scenes, I think, is necessary. So it's not easy. It's not easy. This feels to me like there's a lot of pressures on you, but on the other hand, there's, you really do have the brilliance. It is really important for you to be able to live into that and to take this leadership and, as I say, potentially mentoring role with others, certainly creatively. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope it was helpful. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Please do go and see the other 2 readings, because I think the color energy for both of those have come up very strongly. So I think they will give you other guidance that would be really helpful. And for now, I will wish you well and hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So I wanted to start with some other color energy, some astrology to see the areas of life that your yellow energy could be operating in, and also the spiritual sort of anchor for it with the rainbow oracle. And we've got some crystal chakra energy we'll get to later. It's really interesting for a start that you have yellow. So it's very much saying that you're resonating to this color, and your self-empowerment, your life path is very important at the moment. It doesn't surprise me with some of the other energy here. This is, I often find with the readings I do at the moment with this collective that there seems to be often a group that has a cause, and I feel you are the group that has the cause. Now, this cause could be personal, it could be political, it could be social, it could be creative, but there's a cause. There's something, because we've got right at the core of this resonant truth. Being in resonance with your soul brings all things to light. There is something here where you are changing something, yourself or others, profoundly with Pluto. You're bringing great learning and expansion to it with the 9th house. You need to purify your body here with yellow. You need to be ready and as strong as possible, because with Pluto, there's a lot of change. At the very least, there's a lot of change for you, but it could also be that there's resistance and revolution sort of energy around this. Like kind of there's that sort of big ticket stuff. So you need to be as healthy and strong as possible. But Jade is saying you have to take action. Like there's action required here. And there's a number of things I sort of felt just even looking at this. You know, the action could be any number of things. It could be something very transformative around, you know, an organization or a political cause where truth has to be brought to light. Something has to be brought to light. Something that was hidden and subterranean has to be brought up, a bit like this phoenix rising in the Pluto. It has to be shown, like really bringing something to the fore. You've seen something that's wrong. You know that something has to shift, and people have to see the truth in some way. And you want to purify some sort of system and make it more what it was philosophically meant to be. So social causes, political causes, definitely. There's also potentially for some of you, this is quite specific, but I get it quite strongly, with the ninth house, it could be around you have a very new way of looking at academia and at research. You know, there is information you have that's meant to be brought to the surface, and it might revolutionize the way that something is seen. The sort of like the energy I get off this is something like, you know, back when the sort of various sort of scientists sort of realized the earth wasn't flat, and which one did it, the name is escaping me at the moment, but there's almost that kind of thing. There's almost a revolutionary idea or way of looking at things, understanding the world. Again, it is necessary now. You need to take action, because major change has to occur at that really fundamental level of what we take as truths that are maybe not true, You know, it's all the sort of stuff in quantum physics. What is that telling us about the nature of the... And I am not a quantum physicist, so all I know, I mean, I'm in awe whenever I hear about it, but it's something like that for some of you. There's something about, it's literally around ideas and you know, study and approaches to things that you're meant to revolutionize in some way. And again, you have to be ready, because that's not easy to do. And the other thing I get is, for some of you, it's like take action to travel, be out in the world. There's something that you're going to learn in doing that will change you and will clear energy for you. So if you've been feeling stuck, or you feel like your horizons aren't broad enough, it's literally calling you to travel. You know, so now that could be traveling across continents, or it could be within a continent, like it can be whatever, but there's something about broadening your horizons very literally as well for some of you. It's a very interesting energy. So what I'm going to do with tarot is that firstly I'm going to ask Spirit for a little bit more about the sort of yellow energy that is about your solar plexus chakra, your self-empowerment, what's operating there. And then I want to ask about your life path. And I think a lot of this is about your life path, to be honest, but we'll see what comes through. Then we're going to ask sort of for any advice, picking up any other color energy. So firstly, how is this sort of playing out for self-empowerment for you? Seven of crystals reversed. That's seven of Pentacles. Magician, Five of Wands reversed, Nine of Wands reversed, Ten of Crystals, so it's Ten of Pentacles. Okay, this is definitely playing out in what can be now sustained. So for one way of looking at all of this is sort of like a different philosophy and change around the environment, potentially. With Seven of Crystals, it's understanding and having the truth about what is sustainable and what isn't, and bringing in something that is sustainable. So that's maybe one potential way, you know, if that resonates to you, if you're involved in that sort of thing. But it equally is something fundamental and core. When the truth comes out, has to change, because it's no longer working. And you know that. And it's no longer working for you. For some of you, there might be a very literal thing here about changing your diet, changing your exercise program, purifying your body, because it's not working anymore. With Seven of Crystals, it's like Seven of Pentacles reversed. Return on investment is not coming. Growth is not coming. But you're meant to get to a point of growth and consolidation. And your truth with the Magician and your awareness and your knowledge, that's the key. You really have to look at what you know, you understand, you know, and what you research. Maybe you research to find this, you know, like maybe the first action is research to bring the truth. Then you know what needs to change. You have to kind of let go of petty battles, because this is a bigger thing. You know, like, and that doesn't have to mean that, you know, you're on the world stage. It just means that whatever this is important. It's either important to your sense of sort of like self-empowerment and health and growth, or it's important on some sort of cause, as I say. But there's a lot of petty stuff around this, but this is why it has to be at this really high order level. The action has to be taken where truth and research and data and all of those things really matter to really cause the change that's necessary. And you're in an environment where it's tricky to do that. where you have to be careful how you say things, but this is also where the truth and the research and the data. Like this could easily be something, say, in the scientific world where you're shifting a paradigm. And the only way you can shift the paradigm is to have the data and to be able to deal with the sensitivities, the political sensitivities around it. That's just an example, but there's sort of something here. And if this is about, like the state of your life at the moment and like the relationships around you and the work that you're doing, you are able to work out the better way, but you're going to have some resistance, but you are meant to consolidate this. This is something this change, whatever you bring, also changes you in a way that makes you much more consolidated, much more secure. So let's have a look at what it means about your life path, because as I say, this sort of energy feels very life path to me. Four of crystals, so that's Four of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Ace of Daggers reversed, Seven of Cups, Warden of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands reversed. Okay, so there is definitely something that's stuck. It's no longer working and definitely stuck. This could be for you. You could have held on so tightly to early achievement. Say it was academic. You might have done very well academically, and now you haven't worked out what to do with that now in the world, for instance. So you're holding on to that, and instead of going out and getting a job, you're saying, okay, I've got my master's, now I'll get my PhD and so forth. So there's just something. That's just an example. Most of you, I think, this is more around like something you're materially trying to do, and you've got to a particular point and it's sort of a bit stuck, and you need to move that. You need to find the right people to connect with, the people who can hear what you have to say, because as I say, there's something, you really do have a truth to speak, and it needs to shift this energy because it's going in a backward direction. You are not quite yet ready to say what you've seen. So I think there's more research to do. Some of this action is more research. Get more data. Get a really compelling case. You can still see with the Seven of Cups that you're not sure what's real and what isn't real. And as such, you're not showing it yet. I think that's okay. I think the first piece of action around this is expansion of your understanding of this in some way, because you are ultimately going to really shift something a lot in your own life or in other people's lives. And it just feels to me like something like science. It's just an example, but it just feels like you've worked out something's wrong. You've worked out, just as I say, the person who kind of worked out it didn't make sense that the earth was the center of the universe, and in fact, or that the earth was flat. You've kind of worked that out, but you haven't got all the data, all the stuff yet to really go forward. But you can see, you have a very strong sense of consequential thinking. You can see where things are going when probably many people around you are just in a normalcy bias and they're not seeing it. But you can find, when you get more information and you really start to do the research and you work out what's the clear message you want to give. It's not right time yet to make the clear message. It will come. You will find the right people. But for the moment, you almost need to hide your light a bit. You almost need to not show who you are yet, because it's almost like you have to take a situation by surprise in some way. Okay, so let's get some advice about like other color energy that could be playing out here, or other factors that could be playing out here. Four of Daggers, so Four of Swords. Six of Crystals, so Six of Pentacles. Eight of Wands. Okay. So I feel like daggers or swords is a bit like throat chakra energy, a bit like blue, the primary color of blue. So I think this is, again, it's sort of saying at the moment, you keep what you're saying to yourself. You don't speak it yet. Your time will come when you'll come out as a magician, but it's not quite yet. With Six of Crystals, I feel like that's connecting back to this yellow energy, because a lot of it's playing out that way for you. You will be in a position where you will find people who can hear you, can be a mentor, can be a benefactor, and you can also do the same. But at the moment, you are reliant on those that have the money, the resources. So it's like you've got to wait your time to find the right one, and then you can be released. Then the core thing, the red energy for you, can be released, and you can bring this out. But you've got to understand the environment you're in, and you've got to hold your counsel until that's time. But you're not going to be wrong. Like this is very interesting what you're seeing and understanding, and it will be very revolutionary in whatever level this operates for you. Could be just in a friendship circle. You could be saying that somebody in your friendship circle is really duplicitous and other people haven't seen it yet, but you'll get enough information to help. So it could be at any level, but there's just something where you just need to expand your database a bit more first so that you're ready to really bring the compelling truth that forces the change that has to happen. Okay, so let's have a look at a bit of the energy about how that works. I wanted to look at how you connect with community, and there is something here with this, I think. Then yourself with the Lantern Oracle for what golden light can be shed on this for you personally, and then also what may need to heal to really bring your yellow energy to its peak, pile 3. So firstly, how this plays out in community or with other people. The masculine, okay. All right, there's power elements here. Now, ultimately, that will be you coming forward with a powerful action. This is the action. So definitely at some point you will need to sort of step forward into what we would think of as the divine masculine, into action, into taking the battle out there, into taking the revolution out there, whatever that is. Because I'm not talking about, full-blown, political revolution or anything. I'm just talking about change, sort of evolutionary energy. So that's there, but I think you are also surrounded by that at the moment. So that's why you need all your facts, because facts will gazump the brute force energy as well. So let's see what the Lantern Oracle wants to give you to light your way. Pile 3. Trusting tricksters. The trickster's only power is your trust. You are always free to withdraw it. Okay, there's definitely something about the energy of the people that you're with. It also means, this might also be why I do a bit more research. You might be in a sort of situation where some of the information you're getting is not good and could take you down rabbit warrens. Wouldn't surprise me, particularly if it is a social cause or something like that, or even getting the right data for something scientific, because we live in such a bifurcated, divided echo chamber world that it's hard to know what's true a lot of the time. So again, this is why you need to really get your data. Then you won't have to deal with that. And then what maybe needs to be healed for you? Selling out. Okay, so I don't think you would be likely to sell out, but I think you're seeing something where you think that's happened. Like this could be on a very personal level, but I think for most there's something that's a cause, as I say, and there's it's where the truth could be sold out for, brute power or for money or something like that, and there's a lot that's not honest around all of this. So this is why your getting of your data and getting of your compelling evidence, it stops that from happening. You won't do that, I don't think, but it's a beguiling siren call where you are, which is kind of go to sleep and go along with the powers that be, but you're here to cause change in some way. Pile 3. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to look at these cards. So these are crystal chakra decks. So this is crystals connected to chakras. And so what I did is that I separated out all the different chakras, because what I wanted one for the solar plexus, for the yellow energy. But I also wanted ones that connected to the other primary colors. So for red as a primary color, I think of the root chakra. Red and yellow together is orange. That makes me think of the sacral chakra. So we've got a sacral chakra deck. Then we have blue as the other primary color. Blue and yellow creates green, which is the heart chakra. So there's a heart chakra one. So this is just to connect these energies to the readings, the other readings in this collaboration. So we have the sacral chakra, we have the heart chakra, and we have the solar plexus chakra. So for the sacral chakra, we have tangerine quartz, and this is about curiosity and playfulness. I honor my inner child by being playful. I always feed my curiosity. I think this is about get more data, get out there, and don't make it as fun as possible. And again, you might have to hide what you're really doing in a way, not to be completely duplicitous, but it could be kind of I'm just curious about this. I'm just looking at this. I'm just exploring it, because I do think you're going to find something that causes a major seismic shift in whatever it is that you're doing. So, but being playful and enjoying it, I think gives you that kind of cover till you're ready and you have your case ready. Heart chakra, purity and serenity, jade. Actually, that's interesting because this is jade as well. Take action. Wow. I'd say have some jade around you. It's obviously very important energy for you at the moment. And the heart chakra, I'd say, is very important to all of this. Being true to your heart rather than all the powers that be. But this brings purity and serenity. And the Affirmations are: I experience serenity when I learn to accept, and I serve pure and infinite. I deserve pure and infinite love. So yeah, it's like you might have to accept the game that you have to play in all of this and stay pure to yourself, but you do need to take action, I think. And then the solar plexus chakra, getting back to the yellow energy for you, you've got yellow jade, tranquility and self-sufficiency. I am self-sufficient in my endeavors, and I know tranquility. Oh, no, I allow tranquility to wash over me. So you don't worry, you will get the information. I mean, this probably sounds a bit daunting what I'm talking about, but the reality is your truth and what you find is going to be self-evident, and it's going to be powerful. So don't worry too much about that. Just be careful about when you time bringing that out. Take the action now to get everything you need to have a compelling case. Okay, so to finish up, I want to use an archetype card for the energy around your yellow vibration at this point in time, and then also a card from the Wisdom of the Golden Path, because I thought we should all have a yellow golden path card to close out the reading. So firstly, the archetype energy that is playing out here at the moment for you. Oh, that's interesting. That came up for another, and it makes perfect sense for this one. So the mentor is an interesting and somewhat ambivalent archetype. Inasmuch it might be you sometimes, you're meant to be a mentor to others, but it may also be that you are going to have to parse out what is coming from your mentors or your teachers or the people around you, particularly say in academia or something like that, as to whether or not it is true and good information, or whether it in fact has got lost in ego, because this archetype can get lost in ego. You will know the shadow side of the mentor when the mentor has decided they know everything and the only way to be good is to be just like them. So I think you're a bit around that kind of energy, and you're going to really push the paradigm. But I think it's also a warning to you that having done that, don't become that yourself either. That the good mentor shares experience, knowledge, information, and then asks questions and allows the other person to find their path and their truth and all of those sorts of things. So you're probably going to hit up against those who try and, who have the shadow element of this, and you've probably already done that. The good news is you may also find a great mentor who can see what you're doing and help you with preparing the case. So if sort of someone is doing that and they're not trying to make you think a particular thing, but they're helping you to prepare the case, then by all means go with that, because that's great energy. But it is a bit of an ambivalent archetype, and it fits a lot with this energy. It would be an archetype that was very key around changing the way that people believe things, changing what is considered to be the truth in whatever environment this is. Okay, so let's complete with a card from the Golden Path Oracle for you. Inner conflict. Okay. So these two coming up together might be very key here. You may have a mentor that you really care about who's going to potentially not help you at this. That's a possibility, which could bring you into inner conflict because you want to connect with that and you look up to that person. But in the end, the truth is the truth, pile 3. If it's not connected to a mentor or something like this might be the inner conflict of knowing that something is wrong but not yet having the information to prove it. That's why take action and expand your horizons and get the data. You wouldn't be able to sell out, pile 3. You wouldn't be able to just go along with something because it's the dominant paradigm if you know it's wrong. So there's a part of you that needs truth to emerge, that needs truth to be resonant. So you're always going to have that conflict if you're coming up against that energy. So you really need to move into your power and into your solar plexus energy, your self-empowerment and your life path to stop the inner conflict by actually shifting the dial in the external world. So it's an interesting energy. I think it's a really essential energy at any time in the world, but probably particularly now. So I'm very glad there are people like you in the world, but it's not an easy energy. So I wish you the very best with it. I would very much encourage you to go and see the the red and the blue energy readings as well, to sort of see what else that can sort of give to your palette of energy and what you want to do to go forward. So I'd very much encourage that. But beyond that, I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. But beyond that, I hope to see you in future readings.